You are here because this moment was aimed, not random. I am God, and I am speaking to you now because your prayer reached a point of response. And I, Archangel Michael, stand beside this word to confirm its timing and guard its weight. Do not scroll. Do not delay. Stay until the end, because this is the sign you asked for, and ignoring it would not be innocence, it would be avoidance. You asked quietly, sometimes with words, sometimes only with exhaustion. You asked for clarity, for relief, for confirmation that you were not enduring without purpose. This is that confirmation, not dramatic, not loud, but precise. Signs do not always arrive as events. Sometimes they arrive as recognition. You are recognizing this because it was meant for you. Many pass by moments like this and feel nothing. You did not. Something in you paused. Something leaned forward. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. When heaven answers, it does not chase attention. It meets readiness. And readiness has found you. I have watched the pattern you have been stuck in. The repeating delay. The near breakthroughs. The feeling that something always stops just short of arrival. That pattern ends here if you do not turn away. Patterns are not broken by effort alone. They are broken by recognition, followed by response. This is the recognition. Archangel Michael stands with sword drawn not against you, but against interruption. There are forces that benefit when you doubt moments like this. When you say, later, or this is just another message. That delay has cost you before. I will not force you, but I will warn you. This moment will not repeat in the same way. Do not look for fireworks. Look for resonance. Truth does not shout, it settles. If your spirit feels heavy and calm at the same time, that is because something old is being confronted and something new is being authorized. You are standing at a hinge point, small in appearance, massive in consequence. You prayed for a sign that would not confuse you. This is why it came plainly. You prayed not to be misled by emotion. This is why it came steady, not overwhelming. You prayed for confirmation you could trust. This is why it came with peace, not pressure. This is not manipulation. This is invitation. Stay with us. Do not rush past this. The mind will try to label this ordinary so it can return to familiarity. Familiarity is not safety when it keeps you bound. Safety now is obedience to recognition. If you know this is speaking directly to you, acknowledge it. Type, I see the sign in the comments. This is not for visibility, it is for alignment. And if you feel the urgency of this moment, like this message, so you do not dismiss it later when distraction tries to erase the weight of now. We tell you this with clarity and care. What follows this sign depends on your response. Not perfection, not certainty, response. Staying, listening, moving when prompted. Ignoring this will not bring punishment, but it will extend waiting. And you have waited long enough. Keep watching. Do not leave. What comes next will explain why this sign arrived exactly now and what must happen immediately after you accept it. Stay until the end. This moment matters more than you realize. The delay you felt was not refusal. I am God, and I tell you this directly so the lie can dissolve now. What you experienced as waiting was restraint, not denial. And I, Archangel Michael, was assigned to stand at the boundary of that restraint so nothing reached you before you were ready to carry it. Do not scroll. Do not leave this unfinished. Stay until the end, because this is where the pattern finally breaks. You thought the silence meant your prayer was set aside. You wondered if you had asked for too much, waited too long, failed too often. But silence is not absence when it is deliberate. Silence is space being cleared. Silence is pressure being redistributed. Silence is timing being perfected so that what comes next does not collapse under its own weight. There were moments when I could have answered sooner. I chose not to, not because I withheld love, but because love protects outcomes, not impatience. If the answer had arrived when you first asked, it would have arrived into confusion, fear, or dependency. You would have questioned it. You would have mishandled it. I will not give you what destroys you simply to prove I heard you. Archangel Michael blocked what tried to arrive early. Opportunities that looked right but carried hidden cost. Connections that felt urgent but were rooted in old cycles. You felt disappointment when they passed. You did not see the collapse that followed behind them. That was mercy. That was precision. Now hear this. The delay ends not because time passed, but because you changed. Your endurance matured. Your desire purified. Your spirit stopped begging for relief and started asking for alignment. That is the moment heaven responds without hesitation. This is why this sign appears now and not before. You are no longer asking from panic. You are asking from readiness. That shift is everything. It grants permission. It opens doors that effort alone never could. Do not underestimate this moment. Many people pray, but few recognize when the answer arrives disguised as instruction. This is instruction. This is confirmation. This is the beginning of movement, not the end of waiting. Archangel Michael is standing alert because acceleration is near. When delay lifts, things move quickly. The mind that grew used to slowness may feel disoriented at first. Do not interpret speed as danger. Speed after obedience is alignment, not chaos. Stay with this. Do not skim. If you rush past this understanding, you will misread what happens next. You may think you are being tested again when you are actually being advanced. This clarity must settle now. If you feel a release in your chest or a seriousness replacing anxiety, that is your spirit adjusting to answered prayer. It does not always feel like celebration. Sometimes it feels like responsibility. That is because the answer carries assignment with it. Acknowledge this moment. Type, "The delay had purpose" in the comments. This anchors truth over resentment. And like this message, so you remember, when movement begins, that waiting did not mean abandonment. We are telling you plainly, ignoring this sign will not stop the plan, but it will slow your participation in it. Recognition shortens timelines. Dismissal extends them. Choose awareness now. Keep watching. Stay until the end. What comes next will show you how heaven moves once delay is lifted, and why what happens next will feel sudden, undeniable, and irreversible. What is unfolding now did not begin today. I am God, and I am revealing this so you stop misjudging the quiet seasons of your life. And I, Archangel Michael, stand as witness and guardian to this truth. Do not scroll. Do not let familiarity dull your attention. Stay until the end, because this is where you understand what was moving while you thought nothing was happening. While you measured time by visible progress, heaven measured readiness by internal shift. While you counted delays, permissions were being negotiated. While you questioned silence, foundations were being reinforced beneath you. Nothing was idle. Nothing was wasted. What you call nothing was actually preparation beyond your awareness. There were conversations you were spared, decisions you were not allowed to make yet, paths that looked open but would have collapsed under your weight at that stage. You did not see the fractures because they were concealed for your protection. I do not expose unfinished structures to those I intend to advance. Archangel Michael was not idle in your waiting. He intercepted cycles that would have pulled you backward. He disrupted patterns that tried to repeat under new names. He stood between you and fatigue, disguised as opportunity. You felt tired without knowing why, because battles were being fought that you were never meant to enter. You assumed progress required constant motion. But some progress requires stillness so deep that even desire must be retrained. You were being taught how to want without desperation, how to hope without demanding control, how to trust without seeing proof. That training is rare. That is why few recognize when their answer finally arrives. Now understand this clearly. The movement beginning now carries stability because of what happened then. What you are about to receive will not destabilize you because you were quietly strengthened. What is coming will not inflate your ego because humility was forged in the hidden place. What opens next will not consume you because restraint shaped your capacity. This is why the sign feels calm instead of explosive. Fireworks are for spectators. Alignment is for participants. You are not being entertained, you are being invited. Do not look back with regret. Do not say, if only this had happened sooner. Sooner would have broken you. Sooner would have confused you. Sooner would have attached fear to blessing. Timing did not betray you. Timing preserved you. Stay with us. This understanding must anchor you before the next instruction arrives. If you move forward without honoring what prepared you, you will try to rush what must unfold with order. Order is what keeps blessing sustainable. If you sense clarity replacing frustration, that is confirmation. If you feel grounded instead of emotional, that is readiness. This is not the answer yet. It is the ground beneath the answer. Acknowledge this truth. Type "nothing was wasted" in the comments. This seals gratitude over resentment. And like this message, so this perspective stays with you when movement begins and old thoughts try to return. We say this plainly. What happens next will feel sudden to you, but it will not be sudden in heaven. It has been anticipated, structured, and protected. You are stepping into motion that was already waiting for you to be ready. Keep watching. Do not leave. The next section will reveal how recognition turns into permission, and why what you do next matters more than how long you waited. Recognition is not the end of prayer. It is the doorway to permission. I am God, and I speak this so you understand the weight of what is happening now. And I, Archangel Michael, stand ready, because when permission is granted, movement follows quickly. Do not scroll. Do not drift. Stay until the end, because what you do with recognition determines what you are allowed to carry next. You have recognized the sign. That alone separates you from many. But recognition without response becomes frustration. Heaven does not force alignment. It invites cooperation. This is the moment where your awareness turns into authorization. Permission is released when recognition is met with willingness. You may feel a subtle urgency rising, not panic, not pressure, but a seriousness that asks you to pay attention. That urgency is not demanding speed, it is demanding sincerity. This is not the time to promise what you cannot sustain or to retreat into silence out of fear. This is the time to say, I am available, even if you do not yet know the full shape of what is coming. In the past, you waited for certainty before moving. That was wisdom then. Now it would be avoidance. Permission at this level does not arrive with full detail, it arrives with direction. Light for the next step, not the entire path. This is how trust is activated. Archangel Michael is guarding this threshold, because doubt will try to disguise itself as caution. You will hear thoughts like, wait a little longer, or make sure this is real. Discernment is quiet and clear. Doubt is loud and circular. Learn the difference now. Permission responds to discernment, not to fear. Something important is being decided not just around you, but within you. Will you stay passive and hope circumstances change, or will you step forward when invited? Heaven responds to posture. Readiness is a posture. Availability is a posture. Resistance, even polite resistance, delays permission. You do not need to impress anyone. You do not need to prove yourself. Permission is not earned by performance. It is released by alignment. Your job is not to be impressive. It is to be present. Stay with this moment. Let it settle. If you rush past it, you will later feel as though something moved ahead of you. That feeling comes when permission was offered but not claimed. Claiming does not require certainty. It requires courage. If your heart is steady right now, that is the signal to move inwardly, even before you move outwardly. Inner permission always comes first. When you agree internally, external doors begin to respond. Acknowledge this shift. Type, I accept permission in the comments. This is not symbolic, it is stabilizing. And like this message, so you remember that recognition without response is incomplete. We are telling you this with care. After this point, neutrality is no longer an option. You will either move with what is opening or feel the tension of resisting it. Resistance does not cancel calling, but it makes it heavier. Alignment makes it lighter. Keep watching. Do not leave. The next section will reveal what permission activates immediately. and why the first movement after this decision will feel both simple and irreversible. Permission does not arrive alone. It carries responsibility with it. I am God, and I speak this so you do not misunderstand what has just been released. And I, Archangel Michael, stand beside you now, because when permission activates, responsibility awakens immediately. Do not scroll. Do not step away. Stay until the end, because this is where many accept the door but hesitate at the weight behind it. What has been granted to you is not fragile, but it is living. It responds to how you carry it. Permission does not ask you to become someone else. It asks you to become more honest about who you already are. Responsibility at this level is not about burden, it is about stewardship. What is entrusted to you now must be handled with clarity, not fear. You may feel the shift already, a seriousness replacing wishful thinking, a desire to act replacing the desire to wait. This is not pressure, this is ownership awakening. Ownership changes how you think, how you choose, how you respond. You are no longer asking, will this happen? You are beginning to ask, how do I carry this well? Archangel Michael is present because responsibility attracts opposition, not always external. Often internal. Old voices will surface, memories of failure, questions about adequacy. These are not warnings, they are echoes. They rise when something new threatens to outgrow the old self-image. Do not argue with them, let them pass. They no longer define the terms. Understand this clearly. Responsibility does not mean you must have all answers now. It means you commit to integrity as answers arrive. You commit to truth over convenience. You commit to alignment over comfort. This is why responsibility feels weighty at first. It demands presence. You asked for change. Change always begins with responsibility shifting hands. Before, you waited for circumstances to move. Now circumstances will respond to how you move. This is not pressure, it is empowerment. Empowerment can feel unfamiliar when you are used to endurance. Do not romanticize what is coming, but do not minimize it either. The responsibility you are stepping into will require consistency, not intensity. Faithfulness, not performance. Listening, not rushing. These qualities were formed in you during the waiting, even when you did not realize it. Stay with us. This anchoring matters. If you rush past this understanding, you may later feel overwhelmed by something that was meant to feel purposeful. Purpose feels heavy only when it is resisted. If you sense a quiet resolve forming instead of excitement, that is correct. Resolve sustains. Excitement fades. What you are being trusted with needs resolve. Acknowledge this transition. Type, I will carry this well in the comments. This is not a promise of perfection. It is a posture of stewardship. And like this message, so you remember that responsibility is not punishment. It is proof of trust. We tell you this plainly. Responsibility will refine you, but it will not crush you. You are not stepping into something beyond your capacity. Your capacity was expanded in secret during the very season you questioned the most. Remain here. Do not leave yet. What comes next will show you how responsibility is supported by divine protection, and why you will not be left to carry what you have been given alone. Keep watching. Responsibility is never released without protection. I am God, and I say this so fear does not distort what you are stepping into. And I, Archangel Michael, am positioned beside you now, because what you carry next must be guarded from interference. Do not scroll. Do not disengage. Stay until the end, because this understanding will keep you steady as movement begins. You are not being sent forward exposed. Protection was activated before permission ever reached you. This is why certain threats dissolved before they could form, why some opposition never materialized, why confusion did not consume you even when answers were delayed. You were being shielded long before you were aware of it. As responsibility increases, so does visibility. Visibility invites attention. Not all attention is harmful, but not all attention is aligned. This is why protection is layered now, around your decisions, your timing, your discernment. You are not guarded from challenge. You are guarded from derailment. There is a difference. Archangel Michael stands watch because interference at this stage is subtle. It does not arrive as attack, it arrives as distraction, overcommitment, over-explanation, the urge to please everyone. These are not virtues here, they are vulnerabilities. Protection will often feel like restraint, closed doors, delayed conversations, interrupted plans. Do not resist that restraint. It is active defense. You may feel moments where progress pauses unexpectedly. Do not panic. Forward motion does not always feel like speed. Sometimes it feels like containment, so momentum can be directed properly. Uncontrolled movement creates damage. Directed movement builds legacy. Stay present. Fear will try to convince you that protection means limitation. It does not. Protection means sustainability. What you are stepping into is meant to last, not flare and fade. That requires boundaries you did not need before. Some people will not understand why you say no now. Others will feel distance where access once existed. This is not coldness. It is clarity. Protection often redraws relational lines. Not everyone can walk with you into the next phase without distorting it. This is not judgment. It is alignment. If you feel a new seriousness about what you allow into your life, that is confirmation. Protection changes appetite. What once entertained you may no longer satisfy you. What once drained you may no longer be tolerated. This is growth under guard. Do not assume protection means nothing difficult will occur. It means difficulty will not define you. It will refine, not consume. It will sharpen, not shatter. You are not being preserved in fragility, you are being preserved in strength. Stay with this. Let it anchor you. If you leave now, you may later misinterpret protection as resistance and push against it. Do not fight what is guarding you. Acknowledge this truth. Type, "I am protected" as I move forward in the comments. This reinforces trust over fear. And like this message, so you remember when restraint appears that it is not opposition, it is defense. We tell you this clearly. Nothing assigned to destroy what has been permitted will succeed. Not because of chance, but because protection was activated first. You are not late. You are not exposed. You are not alone. Keep watching. Do not leave yet. What comes next will reveal how protection and acceleration work together, and why the next movement will feel swift, undeniable, and divinely timed. Acceleration does not cancel wisdom, it requires it. I am God, and I speak now so speed does not intimidate you. And I, Archangel Michael, remain beside you, because when momentum increases, guidance must become sharper. Do not scroll, do not disengage. Stay until the end, because this is where many mistake acceleration for chaos and slow themselves unnecessarily. When movement begins after a long season of waiting, it can feel unreal. You may think, why is everything happening at once? This is not disorder, this is compression. What was delayed did not disappear, it gathered. And now it is being released in sequence, faster than you are used to, but not faster than you can carry. Acceleration will ask you to decide with clarity instead of hesitation. Not recklessly, not impulsively, but cleanly. You will not be given endless time to overanalyze what your spirit already recognizes. This is not pressure, it is trust. Heaven does not rush those it doubts. Speed is often a sign of confidence in your readiness. Archangel Michael stands alert because acceleration attracts two things simultaneously: opportunity and temptation. Opportunity invites you forward. Temptation invites you sideways. Both may arrive quickly. Discernment must therefore become immediate, not delayed. You will know what is aligned because it will carry peace even when it stretches you. What is misaligned will feel urgent, but hollow. You are not required to respond to everything that opens. Acceleration does not mean indiscriminate movement. It means momentum with direction. Saying no quickly can be just as important as saying yes boldly. Protection works through discernment as much as through defense. You may feel moments where your old pace tries to pull you back. The instinct to slow everything down so it feels familiar. Resist that instinct. Familiarity is not a guide now. Alignment is. You are learning a new rhythm, one that does not rely on exhaustion to prove value. Stay present. Do not narrate every step to everyone. Acceleration needs silence to stay clean. Overexposure creates interference. Let progress speak for itself. Words can follow later. If fear whispers, "What if I fail?" answer it with truth. You were not accelerated to be tested. You were accelerated because preparation was complete. Failure is not waiting around the corner. Growth is. Growth always feels unfamiliar. This phase will refine your focus. Distractions will lose appeal. Time will feel more valuable. Choices will feel weightier. This is not heaviness. It is stewardship increasing. You are no longer just surviving days. You are shaping direction. Stay until the end. If you disengage now, the mind may interpret acceleration as instability later. Let your spirit anchor first. Acknowledge this moment. Type, "I move with wisdom, not fear," in the comments. This stabilizes your posture. And like this message, so you remember, when things move quickly, that speed does not mean danger. It means alignment in motion. We tell you this with clarity. Acceleration is not something you chase. It is something you cooperate with. The moment you stop resisting speed, it becomes smooth instead of overwhelming. Keep watching. Do not leave yet. What comes next will reveal what happens immediately after acceleration begins, and why one simple response from you will lock this movement into place permanently. Recognition is not the reward. It is the examination concealed inside affirmation. I speak now with the voice of God, and I, Michael, stand beside that word to make it clear to you. When heaven acknowledges you, it simultaneously observes how you carry that acknowledgement. This is where many stumble without realizing why. They celebrate the sign but miss the instruction embedded within it. Stay with this moment. Do not scroll. What you do next determines how far the recognition can travel. When the sign appears, it will feel validating. It will feel like relief. You will think, "Finally, I was seen." That feeling is real, but it is not the destination. Recognition reveals your posture. Do you become passive once noticed, or do you become precise? Do you wait to be affirmed again, or do you move with what has already been confirmed? This is the test hidden inside recognition, and it happens quickly. Hear this clearly. Recognition removes excuses. Once heaven marks you, you can no longer say you didn't know, didn't sense, didn't receive confirmation. The light placed on you activates responsibility. This is not pressure, it is truth. What you asked for has arrived, and now the response matters more than the request ever did. Do not misunderstand the test. It is not about humility versus confidence. It is about obedience versus consumption. Recognition is not meant to be admired. It is meant to be acted upon. If you pause too long to feel worthy, you will miss the momentum released by the sign. If you rush to announce it, you will dilute its power. The test is balance, quiet movement with full conviction. You may feel an urge to explain yourself, to seek reassurance from others, to replay the moment again and again. Resist that urge. Recognition from heaven does not require consensus from people. The sign was not given so others would believe. It was given so you would move. This is why ignoring this moment would repeat an old cycle. That cycle was waiting for permission after it had already been granted. Stay with me now. Do not scroll. There is another layer to this test. When recognition lands, opposition often disguises itself as opportunity. Things that once distracted you will resurface with new appeal. Familiar doors will reopen, asking for one more look. This is not coincidence. Recognition exposes what still competes for your attention. What you choose to ignore now is as important as what you choose to pursue. If you feel a tightening in your chest or a sudden stillness in your thoughts, that is discernment activating. Pay attention. The test is not loud. It is subtle. It asks one question. Will you protect what has been recognized, or will you treat it casually? Heaven watches stewardship more closely than talent. I, Michael, say this with urgency because timing is involved. Recognition creates a short corridor where movement is easiest. Delay does not cancel the calling, but it does complicate the path. You are being invited to move cleanly, without dragging old habits, old validations, old fears forward with you. Type, I will act on the sign in the comments as a declaration, not a wish. Like this message to mark your awareness of this test. These actions anchor your focus so recognition does not pass through you unused. Do not scroll yet. Protection is already activating around you, and acceleration is near. What comes next will confirm that this sign was not symbolic, it was preparatory. Stay here. This moment is still unfolding. Protection did not wait for your movement to begin. It was activated before acceleration ever touched your path. I speak as God now, and I, Michael, stand in agreement to make this unmistakably clear. You are not stepping into exposure, you are stepping into coverage. Before doors open, before speed increases, before attention shifts toward you, safeguards are already in place. This is why you felt restraint before release. That restraint was not denial. It was defense. You must understand this so fear does not whisper lies as momentum builds. Divine protection does not always look like distance from difficulty. Sometimes it looks like clarity inside it. Certain things were blocked without explanation. Certain paths felt heavy even when they appeared promising. Certain people drifted without conflict. That was not loss. That was protection shaping your environment before expansion. Do not scroll. This is essential. Protection activates in layers. First, it shields your timing. What would have exposed you too early was delayed. Second, it shields your focus. Distractions that once consumed you now feel empty. Third, it shields your authority. Attempts to undermine you will lose traction before they gain voice. You are not required to defend yourself. The defense is already assigned. When acceleration begins, discernment becomes your primary guard. You will know when to speak and when silence preserves power. You will know when to move quickly and when stillness keeps alignment intact. This is not instinct, it is instruction embedded in your spirit. Trust it. Questioning it will only create noise. You may notice a heightened awareness of motive around you. Words will sound different. Intent will be easier to read. This is not suspicion, it is perception. Protection sharpens sight, so you do not mistake access for alignment. Not every open door is yours to enter. The protected path feels calm even when it is demanding. I, Michael, say this clearly. Do not announce what is still forming. Protection often works through quietness. Let outcomes speak later. What is guarded grows stronger in silence. What is exposed too early becomes vulnerable. You are being taught restraint because what you carry now has weight. If you feel peace settling even as things begin to move faster, that is confirmation. Protection brings steadiness, not confusion. Anxiety comes from trying to manage what heaven is already handling. Release that impulse. Stay attentive, not tense. Type, I am covered as I move in the comments to acknowledge this protection. Like this message to anchor trust in what is surrounding you now. These actions are not superstition. They discipline your awareness to move without fear. Do not scroll yet. The sign will seal itself through a call, a message, or a knock, and when it comes, you will recognize it immediately. Stay here. Timing is tightening, and what follows protection is confirmation. The sign will not remain abstract. It will seal itself through something tangible, something that interrupts your normal flow. I speak now as God, and I, Michael, stand watch to ensure you recognize it when it arrives. A call, a message, or a knock will come carrying clarity, not confusion. It will not need excessive interpretation. You will know. The certainty may start quietly, but it will settle deeply, like a truth locking into place. Do not scroll away. This matters. The sealing of the sign is not dramatic for spectacle. It is precise for direction. The communication may arrive through a person you did not expect, at a time that feels ordinary, wrapped in language that seems simple. That simplicity is intentional. Heaven does not compete with noise. What carries divine authority does not need urgency to prove itself. It carries weight that steadies you instantly. When it comes, your spirit will respond before your mind finishes processing. There will be a moment of stillness, a pause where everything else fades slightly. That pause is alignment. Do not rush past it. Do not talk yourself out of it. This is the moment where the sign stops being confirmation and starts being instruction. Be attentive now. The call, the message, or the knock will not ask you to beg, chase, or diminish yourself. It will invite you forward, not downward. If it demands fear, desperation, or compromise, it is not the seal. The true sign carries peace even when it requires courage. It may stretch you, but it will not demean you. You may feel tempted to delay response, to analyze tone, timing, or motive. Hear this clearly. Discernment is needed, but paralysis is not. The seal does not remain open indefinitely. It does not disappear in anger, but momentum depends on response. When you move with what you are given, clarity multiplies. When you wait without reason, doubt multiplies instead. I, Michael, tell you this with urgency because many miss the sealing moment by expecting it to arrive wrapped in perfection. It will not. It will arrive wrapped in reality. It may come while you are busy. It may come when you feel unprepared. That does not disqualify it. That confirms it. Readiness is revealed in response, not preparation. Stay with me. If your heart begins to beat faster when it arrives, do not mistake that for fear. That is recognition. If your hands feel warm or your chest feels full, that is alignment settling in the body. Your spirit will know before your logic agrees. Trust that order. Type, "I will answer when it comes" in the comments as a declaration of readiness. Like this message to anchor your attention so you do not miss the seal when it appears. These actions train your awareness to respond instead of retreat. Do not scroll yet. Once the sign is sealed, separation begins immediately, and you must understand why certain things cannot follow you forward. Stay here. The movement is intensifying. Separation will begin the moment the sign is sealed, not as punishment, but as precision. I speak now as God, and I, Michael, stand to enforce what must be protected. What cannot follow you forward will begin to loosen its grip, sometimes quietly, sometimes suddenly. Do not misread this as loss. This is alignment asserting itself. When purpose advances, compatibility narrows. Stay with this moment. Do not scroll. Many panic here because familiarity leaves before replacement appears. That gap is intentional. It clears interference. It sharpens focus. You are not being emptied, you are being prepared. What departs now has already completed its assignment in your life. You do not need to argue with endings that heaven has already resolved. You may notice certain people becoming distant without conflict. Conversations will feel repetitive, heavy, or misaligned. Invitations will slow. Access will change. This is not rejection. This is separation doing its quiet work. You are being preserved from dilution. What is coming requires clarity, not crowding. Hear this clearly. Do not chase what is withdrawing. Chasing reverses authority. Let what cannot keep pace fall away without resentment. Gratitude closes seasons cleanly. Resistance drags them behind you. Choose clean endings. Choose peace. This is wisdom, not coldness. There will also be internal separation. Old habits will lose their appeal. Old coping mechanisms will feel hollow. Patterns that once comforted you will no longer satisfy you. This is not discipline forcing change. It is appetite evolving. Your spirit is being recalibrated to desire what sustains growth. If guilt rises, address it gently and release it firmly. Growth is not betrayal. Obedience is not abandonment. You are not required to carry everyone with you. Some were meant to walk you to the door, not through it. Honor them by continuing forward. Do not scroll yet. Separation often triggers a final test. Nostalgia, memories will surface. What if? Questions will whisper. Recognize this for what it is, an attempt to keep you anchored to what you already surpassed. Bless the past and keep moving. You are not going back to explain yourself. I, Michael, tell you this with urgency. What remains after separation is essential. Fewer voices, clearer direction, stronger signal. This narrowing is mercy. It makes your next steps unmistakable. It protects momentum before it accelerates further. If you feel both relief and sadness at the same time, that is normal. Relief confirms alignment. Sadness honors what was real. Let both exist without letting either control you. Balance is maturity. Type, "I release what cannot follow" in the comments as an act of consent, not force. Like this message to seal your agreement with this separation. These actions anchor your resolve so you do not reach backward when the path ahead opens wider. Do not scroll. Urgency is rising, and response without fear is required next. What changes after obedience will be immediate, and you must be ready to move when clarity calls. Stay here. This is unfolding now. Urgency will rise now, not to frighten you, but to free you from delay. I speak as God in this moment, and I, Michael, stand beside this word to remove fear from your response. What is required of you next is not dramatic struggle, but decisive movement. Fear has already been exposed. It no longer has authority unless you invite it back in. This is why the response must be immediate and clean. Do not scroll. This is where many hesitate and complicate what was meant to be simple. Fear will try to disguise itself as caution. It will suggest waiting for perfect clarity, more confirmation, better timing. Hear this clearly. Clarity is already sufficient. What remains is courage. Urgency exists because the window is active, not because it is fragile. Momentum is present, but it responds to motion. Responding without fear does not mean you feel nothing. It means fear does not decide. Your body may react. Your thoughts may race briefly. That does not disqualify you. Obedience is not the absence of sensation. It is alignment in spite of it. When you move while fear is still settling, authority strengthens. When you wait for fear to disappear, momentum weakens. You have already survived worse than this moment. Remember that. You have walked through uncertainty without guidance. You have endured silence without assurance. Now you are being asked to respond with confirmation already in hand. This is not risk, this is trust rewarded. Do not treat it like danger. I, Michael, tell you plainly, fear loses power the moment you act. It thrives in delay. It feeds on imagination, not reality. Once you move, it collapses. The step itself is the answer. The response itself is the protection. Stay with me. There is urgency because what changes after obedience will happen quickly. Systems will shift. Conversations will follow. Doors will move. You must not be anchored by second-guessing when the flow begins. Decide now that when instruction appears, you respond. This decision removes confusion later. If you feel a tightening in your chest as you read this, pause and breathe. That tension is released trying to happen. Say yes internally. Align your posture. You are not being pushed, you are being positioned. Do not scroll yet. Type, "I respond without fear" in the comments as a declaration of readiness. Like this message to mark your agreement with movement over delay. These actions anchor your will so urgency does not feel like pressure when the moment arrives. Stay here. What changes immediately after obedience will surprise you, and you must recognize it as confirmation, not coincidence. This is not the end. This is the turn. Change will not announce itself politely after obedience. It will unfold immediately, often before you have time to reflect. I speak now as God, and I, Michael, stand in alignment to ensure you understand what is happening so you do not misinterpret speed as chaos. When you respond, reality adjusts. What was static begins to move. What resisted loosens. What delayed reorganizes. This is confirmation, not coincidence. Do not scroll away. This awareness keeps you steady. The first change you will notice is internal. Your thinking will sharpen. Indecision will feel foreign. You will sense a quiet authority replacing uncertainty. This is not confidence built on emotion. It is alignment producing clarity. When obedience locks in, confusion cannot remain dominant. Externally, movement follows quickly. Conversations shift tone. People respond differently. Opportunities that seemed distant draw closer without force. Timing aligns without explanation. These are not rewards, they are results. Obedience creates permission for systems to respond to you. What once required effort now requires attention. Be attentive here. Not every change will feel comfortable at first. Acceleration can feel disorienting when you were accustomed to waiting. Do not interpret discomfort as warning. Expansion stretches perception before it settles into rhythm. You are learning to operate at a new pace. I, Michael, tell you this clearly. Resist the urge to slow things down to feel safe. Safety is not found in delay now, it is found in alignment. Move with what is opening. Speak when prompted. Step when directed. Overthinking will only blur what is becoming clear. You may notice certain issues resolving without discussion. Conflicts dissolving without confrontation. Doors closing that once demanded attention. This is efficiency entering your life. Obedience removes friction. What no longer serves is filtered out automatically. This is grace in motion. Stay with me. Another immediate change will be how you perceive value. Time will feel more precious. Energy will feel more guarded. You will no longer tolerate unnecessary drain. This is not impatience, it is stewardship awakening. You are being trained to protect momentum. If excitement rises alongside seriousness, do not suppress either. Excitement confirms alignment. Seriousness honors responsibility. Together, they form maturity. You are not returning to who you were before the sign. That version of you served its purpose. This is transition, not improvement. Type, everything is shifting now, in the comments as a recognition of movement. Like this message to anchor your awareness of change already in progress. These actions stabilize you as the pace continues to increase. Do not scroll yet. One final movement remains, the irreversible turn already set in motion. Once you understand it, doubt will no longer have access to you. Stay here. This is reaching completion. What has been set in motion cannot be recalled, only fulfilled. I speak now as God, and I, Michael, stand as witness and guardian of this turn. The moment obedience crossed into action, a line was passed that cannot be uncrossed. This is not threat, it is mercy. Irreversibility is protection in its highest form. It prevents you from shrinking back into versions of yourself that no longer fit the authority now resting on you. Do not scroll. Stay present. You are sensing it already. The quiet certainty, the lessening pull of old questions, the fading urgency to explain yourself. That is not detachment, it is anchoring. The turn has locked. Even if the path curves, the direction is fixed. Doubt may speak, but it no longer decides. Fear may appear, but it no longer governs. What once delayed you has lost jurisdiction. You will notice doors closing without drama. Options that once tempted you will simply disappear. This is not loss, it is precision. When destiny stabilizes, excess is removed. Fewer choices create stronger outcomes. You are being narrowed into effectiveness. This is how heaven preserves momentum once acceleration has begun. Listen carefully. Irreversible movement does not require constant proof. There may be quiet days. There may be pauses that feel familiar. Do not misread them. Roots are deepening. Infrastructure is forming. What is permanent is being built beneath what will soon be visible. Trust the process, you are already inside. I, Michael, say this plainly. Do not attempt to return to old negotiations. You do not need to renegotiate worth, timing, or permission. That conversation is finished. What it cost you to arrive here was real, and it was accepted. The exchange is complete. Stand where you are without apology. If resistance tries to reappear, it will come as nostalgia. It will ask you to remember comfort without remembering constraint. Bless the memory and release it. The ground beneath you now is firm. Even missteps will be corrected forward, not backward. This is what irreversible alignment does. It redeems motion. Stay with me. As the turn settles, your influence will change texture. Your words will carry weight. Your presence will alter rooms quietly. Small decisions will create large outcomes. This is not pressure, it is stewardship maturing into impact. Move thoughtfully, speak truthfully, act promptly. If a calm joy rises without explanation, honor it. That joy is recognition. Your spirit knows you are aligned, even if your mind cannot yet see the full shape. Sight will come later. Trust is sufficient now. Type "the turn is set" in the comments as an acknowledgement of where you stand. Like this message to mark this moment in your memory. Do not scroll yet. Remain still for a breath. What comes next will meet you already moving forward, and you will recognize it without effort. The path is sealed. The turn is complete.